Okay, one of my favorite dinners, ground beef tacos. This is so easy to make. Look at this. Look at this beautiful plate. I've got 2 tacos on there, plus a little side of beans. After I made the taco meat, I added some of my favorite toppings. I like shredded cabbage, onion, avocado. I also have sour cream in there, so I'm going to take a bite. Let's see how delicious this is. Here we go. You ready? You ready? Here we go. This is going to be messy, but that's okay. So yummy. Every time a winner. Creamy sour cream, tangy cheese, crunchy taco shell, and you can use flour tortillas too. It's so good. Crazy easy. Let me show you how to do it. All right, so to make this ground beef taco mix, let me show you what you're gonna need. You're gonna need 1 pound of ground beef. The one that I'm using is 85% lean, 15% fat. Anywhere along there is fine, works. Just a pound of ground beef. You could also use ground turkey too. Some kind of oil, vegetable oil. I'm going to use my grapeseed oil. You're also going to need some onion. Now this is a big onion. See how big it's like a softball. That's a big onion, so I'm probably going to use half of this. If it was a smaller onion, I'd use the whole thing. I'm also going to use a jalapeno. And I'm not going to use this garlic because my husband can't eat garlic. So that's a whole other story. But if garlic is fine in your household, and I hope it is, you could definitely mince up a clove of garlic in there. I'm also going to need 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Now our spices, we're going to need ground coriander. And coriander is actually the seeds, dried seeds of cilantro. You're also going to need cumin and chili powder, the usual suspects, salt and pepper. And as far as equipment goes, all you need, just a skillet. That's all you need. I'm going to use a nonstick skillet. Okay, this is easy. Let me show you how to put it together. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you're going to put about 2 tablespoons of the oil in the skillet and start heating up the skillet till it gets nice and hot. Now if you see here, I cut up about half that onion, nice finely chopped, and I took the seeds out of the jalapeno and chopped and minced it up too. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna saute these vegetables to get the rawness out of them to make them softer. How do you know if the oil is hot enough? Put a little bit of onion in there and see if you get a sizzle. Maybe you can't hear that, but I see it. It's definitely sizzling, so I'm gonna add this in. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna saute this for about, 5 minutes or so until everything looks, and get a lot of that steam out, soften it up. So we'll come back once that is done in a few minutes. All right, I didn't mention something before, which is if you did mince up some garlic, a good time to put it in would be when the onions and the jalapenos were going. So it would be in here too. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, since it's been several minutes, I'm gonna add the meat. So I'm gonna take out the meat, put the meat in there. I'll be right back. Okay, now what you're gonna wanna do is break the meat up with a spatula or a wooden spoon or something like this. This is non-stick, so I'm not gonna use metal, but you gotta keep breaking up that meat, turning over the meat. Now it's red now. You want to cook this meat along with the vegetables until the meat turns brown. And you want these chunks nice and small. So really work at it, turn the meat over, see how it's brown on the bottom. So I'm going to continue to cook this, and it's on about medium heat. I'm going to continue to cook this until all the meat is brown, and then I'll show you what to do next. All right, so you see here how the meat has turned brown. That's what we want. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat. Now you notice here, okay, there's a lot of grease in here. Okay, it's going to start trickling down. There's a lot of grease in there. Now, depending on what you want to do, you can leave the grease in there, or you can take all of it out, or you can take some of it out. I'm going to take probably most of it out, and I have kind of a unique way that I do it. I'm going to take some paper towel, like this, and I'm going to put it up into a ball. The heat is off, by the way, and I'm just going to let it soak into this paper towel. Now you could also spoon it out into some other little container. Never pour grease down the garbage disposal, down the sink, okay? That clogs up drains. And again, you don't even have to take the grease out if you don't want to, but I don't want it to be so greasy. So I'm just gonna let this soak, maybe get another paper towel too, and then put this paper towel into the trash. And we'll come back and I'll show you what else to do. Okay, so I got the grease out of this, and I turn the heat back on, and this is all the spices. You have to look at the recipe to know the quantities. All the spices and salt and pepper. So grease out, spices in, and heat on. So we're gonna move this around. This is called blooming the spices. And we're not gonna keep this going too long, but just about for 30 seconds to a minute. Oh, that's starting to smell really good. And if when it's done, you think it needs more heat, you can always adjust that. Or if you think it needs more salt, you can always adjust that, and you should adjust that. Okay. Now, sometimes students will say, "It's done, Miss Bobek. It's totally done. Don't do anything more to it." And it's your taco meat. I like to add this can of tomato sauce just to make it a little bit moister. And a lot of the water in the tomato sauce boils out, but that's up to you. If you think it's good to go right now, put it on, then great. Taste it, see if it needs anything, then serve it up. But I like to add the tomato sauce and get that in there. Now the amounts that I gave you are good for about 4 servings. But if you're like, "Oh, Ms. Bobek, we can eat tacos at my house," or if you have a big family, double all the ingredients, double all the quantities of the ingredients. Do that and you'll have a whole bunch more. So I'm just gonna cook this for however many minutes I want. I'll turn the heat down a little bit. And what I'm gonna do while this is just kind of simmering means a low boil, very small boil. What I'm gonna do is get my toppings ready and get my tortillas ready for these tacos. So I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. All right, so this has been simmering for a long time. I got my toppings ready, so I'm gonna do a taste of it. Why am I tasting it? Because I wanna see if it has enough seasoning. I wanna see if it has enough heat to satisfy our taste buds. And the only way to do that is to taste it. Spot on. I think it is just fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in taco shell and add my toppings. I got a bunch of toppings with some beans on the side, and this is gonna be great. I hope you try this at home. It's a simple, quick meal everybody will like.